Good evening, and welcome to the December 20th, 2022 regular meeting of the Gary Common Council. I want to start by wishing everyone a very happy and blessed and prosperous holiday and a happy and prosperous new year. As we always do, we will begin with prayer. We're honored to have Chaplain Gerald Hall with the Gary Mizpah Seventh-day Adventist Church, who will offer our opening prayer. Chaplain Hall.
Our Father and our God, we're just so thankful that you allowed us to see the dawning part of another beautiful day. We ask you, dear Lord, as we come to this Gary Common Council, that you would be with all of the councilmen and women, and we ask you to bless them in their going out and their coming in, and they will make the best decisions for the city of Gary. We ask you to bless our mayor, Jerome Prince, and lead him and guide him and his family, that they may make the right decision for the city of Gary, that we may be the best city in the Northwest Indiana, because you, Jesus, is leading them and guiding them and letting them make the right decisions for you. We ask these blessings and all in the mighty and precious name of Jesus, and for his sake we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chaplain Hall. At this time, we will have our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Atkins. Councilman Brewer.
Here.
Councilwoman Brown. Councilwoman Caldwell. Councilman Lay.
Present.
Councilman Washington.
Present.
Councilman Weatherspoon.
Present.
Councilman Williams. President Godwin.
Present.
Mr. President, there are 7 present, 2 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. With 7 members present and 2 absent, we have a quorum to conduct the business of the Gary Common Council. Council members, before you are the minutes of our most previous December 6, 2022 regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve said minutes?
So moved, Mr. President.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown. Councilwoman Caldwell. Councilman Lay.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon.
Yes.
And President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, vote is 7-0.
With a vote of 7-0, the minutes of our December 6, 2022 meeting stand approved. Assignment of council pending ordinances and resolutions on first reading.
CPO 2022-141, an ordinance creating 2 funds to account for opioid settlement funds, sponsored by Mayor Jerome A. Prince, City of Gary, Malik Harper, City Controller.
Finance.
CPO 2022-142, an ordinance to amend and replace flood hazard area ordinance by establishing provisions for flood damage prevention in accordance with the State of Indiana Model Ordinance for Flood Damage Protection, sponsored by Carla McVeigh, Department of Zoning.
Planning and Development.
CPO 2022-143, an ordinance authorizing the City of Gary, Lake County, Indiana, to make temporary loans to meet current running expenses for the use of the general fund and anticipation of current taxes levied in the year 2022, collected in the year 2023. December 30th, 2023, authorizing the issuance of tax anticipation warrants to evidence such loans and the sale of such warrants, and appropriating and pledging the taxes to be received in such funds to the punctual payment of such warrants, including the interest thereon. Sponsored by Mayor.
Finance.
CPO 2022-144, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9556 and ordinance number 9557 to make changes to the 2023 operating and salary budgets for the Gary Police Department and the newly created Park Department, sponsored by Mayor Jerome A. Prince, City of Gary, Malik Harper, City Controller.
Ways and Means.
2022-145, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9446, entitled An Ordinance for the City of Gary, Lake County, Indiana, approving an American Rescue Plan Act spending plan for housing opportunities for first responders, and sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary, Malik Harper, City Controller.
Ways and Means.
Mr.
CP.
President,
Councilman Lay.
point of order on 2022-42. The mayor's name has to be on there. You've assigned it to a committee with the Department of Zoning.
You're talking about 142?
Yes.
Okay, so can we can we just make that change?
Yeah, I'm just saying, we've told them time and time again, we
Right.
need his signature, so we don't do something and all of a sudden we get a veto on something we think he's sponsoring. That's all. So
Point
we
taken.
can make the change later. I just want to make sure you didn't overlook it. I'm sure you did.
Point taken, and the, point taken. We'll make sure that is corrected. Okay, please proceed, Madam Clerk.
CPR 2022-18, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Gary, Indiana, honoring Division Chief Calvin Bankhead for his 45 years of service to the Gary Fire Department, sponsored by Cloris L. Lay, Councilman at Large.
Mr. President, point of order again. I think this is actually being sponsored by the entire council. I think it's misleading because I had an idea, but we all are sponsoring it. And I would like the resolution to show that it'll reflect the entire council, unless someone is objecting.
No, I agree, and I think that what we will do is amend it once it's assigned to committee, and I'm in support of it being heard on all three readings at this point. The same with CPR 2022-19, both of which I'm going to assign to public safety. So for now, we'll just do the I think if we can, if we will assign it to public safety and then suspend the rules on third and final. Okay. We're trying to avoid waiting until the very end of the evening. But I think what we'll do is follow our regular process and go ahead and make the presentations during special and select, unless we can do it at this point. But in terms of the suspending the rules, okay. Okay, so if there's no objection, is there a motion? She's going to read 18, and then we'll move forward. You got me thrown off, Councilman Lay.
Well, but apparently you're referring to your attorney rather than the parliamentarian. I understand I'm leaving.
Yes, and we'll finish the assignments, and then when we come back to 18 and 19, we'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules to consider on all three readings. Okay, please proceed, Madam Clerk.
CPR 2022-19, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Gary, Indiana, honoring Chief Reginald Harris for his 36 years of service to the Gary Police Department, sponsored by Cloris L. Lay, Councilman at Large.
Public Safety.
CPR 2022-20, a resolution recognizing a donation from Mael Organics LLC to be used to assist the Rainbow Ark Shelter, sponsored by Mayor Jerome A. Prince, City of Gary, Malik Harper, City Controller, Mary Brown, Councilwoman, 3rd District.
Finance.
CPR 2022-21, resolution recognizing a donation from the National Honor Society of River Forest High School to be used to assist the Rainbow Ark Shelter, sponsored by Mayor Jerome A. Prince, City of Gary, Millie Harper, City Controller, Mary Brown, Councilwoman, 3rd District.
Finance.
Mr. President, ends the assignment of pending ordinances and resolutions.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. If there's no objection, I will begin with public safety. Councilman Brewer.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we suspend the rules and pass on all 3 readings, CPR 2022-18.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown. Councilwoman Caldwell. Councilman Lay.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon.
Yes.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 7-0.
With a vote of 7-0, the rules have been suspended and CPR 2022-18 will be considered on all 3 readings. Is there a motion for passage?
Mr. President, I move for passage of CPR 2022-18.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. We will have the overview at this time. Councilman Lay, you want me to lead that process?
Well, we still have to amend this.
Okay, so,
We should amend it right here.
all right.
So, Mr. President,
Councilman Brewer,
make a motion to amend by substitution CPR 2022-18. The amendment is to add the Gary Common Council as sponsor.
it's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown. Councilwoman Caldwell. Councilman Lay.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon.
Yes.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 7-0.
With a vote of 7-0, CPR 2022-18 is amended by substitution. We'll now have the overview of CPR 2022-18 as amended. Councilman Lay.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've known Calvin Bankhead. Calvin Hawkins is a judge now. I've known Calvin Bankhead well over 45 years. He's not that good in politics, but he's a good friend. If you want to, the reason I say that, he was my campaign manager, and he almost beat me. I know we're not supposed to talk politics, but this is my last day. There's not much you guys can do to me. But as a friend, I can't think of anyone any better. He certainly is respected by the fire department. I guess I'm not sure who's handling fires tonight. I hope we don't have one. But they have turned out. He is moving toward his 46th year of service, which will be in August. He pretty much has held every rank from, I guess, a firefighter all the way up to now division chief. And like I say, I can't think of a nicer person than Calvin Bankhead, and that's the truth. I know sometimes I don't say that to him, but I really respect him a great deal. And I doubt in the future that many people will get 45 years. Matter of fact, he's going to be put off before he gets 50 under the current rules. I think he probably has a couple more years of eligibility, and he will reach a plateau where he no longer can be a member of the Gary Fire Department. I believe the overview really wasn't necessary. I think we all know Calvin. We've even run into him at parties and things of that nature, or he's helped us. And he will move to help any member of the public or person. I know he has a big heart. I would ask something that really is duplicity, that we all approve this resolution.
Well, I wholeheartedly agree, and are there other council members who would like to speak at this time?
Mr. President.
Councilman Brewer?
Thank you. And as being a member and the chairman of the Public Safety Committee, I want to just commend Mr. Bankhead for an outstanding service on the Gary Fire Department. He's always professional when I see him on scenes. He knows exactly what's going on, but he's always a willing, helping hand to the citizens of this great community. Just want to say I really appreciate you. That's a long time of giving service, but you have given great service to this community, and we thank you for it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any other members?
All council members agree with that. Mr. Bankhead has been around, he's been around before. He even found me one day, I was lost in the rain. So, yes, absolutely. Bankhead, we support you.
Likewise. Councilman Washington?
Yes, to you, Mr. Bankhead. I want to thank you for 45 years of service to one city when today there is so much hopping from job to job for a present generation, not understanding the benefit of showing loyalty to an employer. I salute you for those 45 years. Secondly, I know that former State Representative Earl Harris would be proud of you, because I remember many meetings when I was a lobbyist for Mayor Rudy Clay. I would sit down with you and Representative Earl Harris, because I think at that time he was chairman of Ways and Means, the first after Bill Crawford to handle such a committee down in Indianapolis, and the words of wisdom that you and he would share with me in trying to help this city be the best that it can. It's a lot of things that you have done, my brother, behind the scenes that people really don't see. When people look at public safety, they often just think of the police. But the firemen are a foundation and a foothold in our community that keeps our people safe. Thank you, my brother. God bless you. Job well done. Good and faithful servant for the Gary Fire Department and also for the city of Gary. I love you, bro.
Mr. President,
Thank you. Councilman Weatherspoon?
thank you. Mr. Bankhead, thank you for your service. Thank you very much, and congratulations on an outstanding career.
Thank you. Any other member? Well, I will echo all of those sentiments, and I often, Councilman Lake mentioned it, but I often tease Mr. Bankhead about his candidate or his client. I said, that must be a very difficult job to be his campaign manager, because I can't imagine he listens to any of your advice. But so that alone is deserving of an honor. I echo all the sentiments in relation to your public service. You've always been very helpful and friendly, and obviously a champion and a supporter, rallier for the city of Gary. So we honor you. The president of the Firefighters Union would like to speak, and if there's no problem with that, I want to invite Mr. Tillman to come and offer some words on behalf of your brothers of the Gary and sisters of the Gary Fire Department.
First off, I would just like to thank the council for having us up, Mayor Prince, and everyone here. Chief Bankhead is a special kind of chief. A lot of members of the department have to wait until they receive rank or a title in order to get respect on that rank. Chief Bankhead carries himself in a manner that you can't help but respect and love him. You can't help but want to listen to what he asks you to do. And he's gonna follow you anywhere that you are. You know, he's not just sending you in without being there to have your back. He makes you feel comfortable in what it is that you're doing. And so throughout the years, it's so many stories. 45 years, that's before I was born. You know, and you know, you just hear all these stories from people who have been on off the job from the time that I got on, that they have about Chief Bankhead. And he cares so much. One of the things that we do is when we come in is we check out a scene to make sure it has scene safety. He doesn't just do that with a scene, he does that with the membership that he has. He makes sure that our demeanor is good. Are you good before I ask you to do something? Is it anything that you have going on at home? And he really means it. He's not just asking you to, you know, to get you the answer to whatever he wants you to do. I mean, he really, really means it. And this is a testament of that. all of these members here. Over 27,000 calls per year with the Gary Fire Department, and you have members running in and out trying to make sure that they can be here for him. And I mean, we get tired, but they rushing in and rushing out, answering calls. And so the legacy that he's gonna leave on his fire department and with the members of Local 359 are gonna go on forever. We're gonna forever be talking about you. We forever are gonna be using your way of leading with the people under us. And if ever there's a direction that we need to look at on how to handle a situation, your name comes up. And so we appreciate you, we respect you, and we love you. You will always be a member of this department, and anything that you need, you can reach out to us and ask us for anything that you need. And to your family, thank you for blessing us with the 45 years that you allowed him to work with us, because that's a sacrifice on your behalf as well. And so we just thank you for that.
I just wanted to give you a real quick story right quick. Somebody told me this the other day. They said that Chief Bankhead and Chief Delgado were having an argument, and they got to tussling over some bunker gear, and they pulling back and forth, and they said, the chief came in and said, will you guys stop fighting? It's other stuff going on way more important. Elvis Presley just died. True story. So we just wanted to tell you, Chief Bankhead, we so proud to stand here. You see, look, they came out for you. All I had to say was call of action. Chief Bankhead is going to be honored tonight by the council, and the men stepped for you. They came right on out. It didn't take a lot to make them come out. You have led us by actions, not just words, but by actions. And you set a blueprint for us to follow. You are a true brother, and we love you. With that being said, we salute you, brother.
And up. Salute.
Thank you. Coming?
Division Chief Bankhead, can you come join us here at the podium? I'm honored to be joined by the Mayor, Jerome Prince, as well as Councilman at Large, Gloria Slay, who's our unofficial Director of Protocol. He designs everything, so hold him responsible. Division Chief Calvin Bankhead is a Gary native and a graduate of Gary West High School, class of 1972. He has received certifications from Indiana University Northwest, Purdue University, the Chicago Fire Academy, Indiana State Fire School. Division Chief Bankhead was hired onto the Gary Fire Department on August 9th, 1977. During his tenure, he has served as firefighter, engineer, lieutenant, captain, battalion chief, and currently division chief. He served as a hazardous material response coordinator and safety training officer. He is the founder of the Gary Fire Department's water rescue team. Today, we honor him for 45 years of service to the Gary Fire Department. We present him this plaque.
So I'll make it briefly. Bankhead or Chief Bankhead, I want to say congratulations, certainly job well done. We'll be seeing you at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning to continue the ceremony. But on behalf of the citizens, I want to say congratulations. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
First of all, I'd like to thank God for even being able to make it 45 years in the fire department. I couldn't have done it without the guys who came before me. Ben Perry, Al Jenkins, Richard Spence. They all took me in when I first came on the job. This is overwhelming to me. When Councilman Lay, Glorious, affectionately, suggested this to me, I said, man, just send me a certificate or something. Because it's like I'm being awarded just for coming to work. But all of these guys know that coming to work is a pet peeve of mine. All you have to do is keep coming. Just one day at a time. It's 45. I remember my first day on the fire department like it was yesterday. So I'd like to thank the mayor, the city council, and obviously all my guys. Quick story. We had a fire on 8th and 8th and Washington. It was an apartment building. I think it was about 9 stories. And we worked and trained with the Chicago Fire Department. At the time, it was Chief Keller. Chief Keller said, just to show you the type of guys that you have, ladies and gentlemen, that you have representing you on this fire department, the whole 45 years and then some that I've been there, I compare them to the Tuskegee Airmen, to tell you why. At that fire on 8th and Washington, the Chief Keller in Chicago asked, he said, how many guys did y'all have at that fire? We said 30. He said, we would have had 150. They used that as a training film in Chicago. Just an example. These guys, like I said, I have to pay tribute to the guys that came before me and the guys that support me. And we actually spend more time in these fire stations than we do at home. So we owe a tremendous amount of thanks to our families. And we have, just like families do, we have our ups and downs. We fight and argue sometimes, but we're a brother and sisterhood. So I'd like to thank everybody for this award, but I'm accepting it on behalf of my guys on the fire department that are here now and the firemen that came before me. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Thank you. You know, Captain Bankhead, made me kind of reflect and think back when he mentioned the gentlemen, the men and women of the Gary Fire Department. I have watched the Gary Fire Department over the years, since I was a young lad myself. I can remember some instances when you guys have really shined. I think about the Gauntlet Bridge and the situation there, probably before a lot of you all's time, and how the Gary Fire Department jumped in, took care of the scene. I mean, there were fatalities the whole 9 yards, and they jumped into action, took care of the scene with no problem, and were gone, And other instances, where the Gary Fire Department has rose to the occasion with less equipment, less manpower. You guys are the best. You guys and ladies are the absolute best. And I just want to echo what Captain Bankhead said there, and want to acknowledge you on my last day here as a council. Thank all of you all for your service.
Spoon? Well, if there's no other discussion at this time, we will call for the vote.
Councilman Brewer? Yes. Councilwoman Brown? Yes. Councilwoman Caldwell? Yes. Councilman Lay?
Pass. Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPR 2022-18 as amended passes. Congratulations to you, Division Chief Bankhead. We're so happy for you. And let me just, we didn't formally do it, but acknowledge the presence of Councilman Dwight Williams has joined us. We'll now proceed, Madam Clerk.
CPR 2022-19, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Gary, Indiana, honoring Chief Reginald Harris for his 36 years of service to the Gary Police Department, sponsored by Horace L. Lay, Councilman at Large.
Mr. President,
Public Safety. Councilman Brewer.
President, I make a motion to suspend the rules and pass on all three readings, CPR 2022-19.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown. Councilwoman Caldwell. Councilman Lay.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, the rules have been suspended, and CPR 2022-19 will be considered on all three readings. Is there a motion for passage of CPR 2022-19?
Mr. President, I move for passage of CPR 2022-19.
It's been moved and properly seconded.
Mr. President,
Councilman Brewer.
make a motion to amend CPR 2022-19. The amendment is to add sponsorship of the Gary Common Council.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions or discussion?
Point of order.
Councilman Lay.
Unless there is another resolution, I think there is. I have one that shows Lieutenant Harris as chief all the way through the document. Do you have one that's different than that?
I think Attorney Williams.
Yes, out of respect to Mr. Harris, we took his highest obtained rank and used that title. He was indeed the chief previously.
I have no objection.
Okay. So we'll proceed with the vote on the motion to amend.
Councilman Brewer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown. Councilwoman Caldwell. Councilman Lay.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
And President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPR 2022-19 is amended by substitution. We'll now have the overview for CPR 2022-19. Councilman Lay.
Mr. Harris, well, I guess he was chief of police. He pretty much held every rank: patrolman, corporal, sergeant, lieutenant, commander, and chief of police. I believe he was chief of police under Mayor Rudy Clay. I believe that's when he was chief. He's not with us tonight. He's a little bit under the weather, but he has 36 years of service. And I think that's really outstanding for the police department. They tend to leave after that because they have a very specific, marketable skill. He's a graduate of the FBI Academy and Northwest University Staff and Command School. I'm going to add something else. The mayor took something I was going to tell you at the end. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock in City Hall, there's going to be a press conference honoring these two gentlemen. I'm not sure if Mr. Harris will be appearing, but his award tonight will be accepted by the current Chief of Police, Mr. Evans. Also, the mayor has agreed to feed the two honorees at the Hard Rock Steak Room. I forgot the correct name of it. Tomorrow. I'm sorry?
Council Oak.
Yeah, I figured you'd help me, but certainly that's important. Like I say, there will be a press conference tomorrow, and the mayor will, at 11 here in City Hall, and he will express his appreciation for the two honorees. With that, Mr. President, I would just say let's take the vote, and I've spoken with Chief Evans, who's here. He will accept the award. Mr. Harris has just probably come down with a flu bug or something, and that's why he's not here.
I'll come down to the podium and present it to Chief Evans.
What about, you don't want to take the vote first? Yeah, to approve.
Okay, so, at this time, we will call for the vote.
Councilman Brewer? Councilwoman Brown? Councilwoman Caldwell? Councilman Lay?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams? And President Godwin. Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPR 2022-19 as amended passes. At this time, we will present the award to Chief Evans on behalf of Lieutenant Honoring Chief, his highest title, Reginald Harris. Just a few highlights from the resolution. Chief Reginald Harris is a Gary native and graduate of Port Gibson High School in Port Gibson, Mississippi, class of 1980. Chief Harris was hired onto the Gary Police Department April 2nd, 1986. He is a United States Army veteran. During his tenure, he served as patrolman, corporal, sergeant, lieutenant, commander, and chief of police. During his tenure, he served in the Investigations Division, Uniformed Services Division, and currently assigned to Supportive Services Division. He has served on the Lake County Task Force, the GRIT Task Force, and the FBI Task Force. He is a graduate of the FBI Academy and Northwestern University Staff and Command School. Today, we honor Chief Reginald Harris for 36 years of service to the Gary Police Department. The current chief, Brian Evans, will receive this award on his behalf. Chief Evans.
First, I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of Lieutenant former Chief Harris, who can be here. He is under the weather, and I think most of us understand that we have a flu bug going around right now. One quick thing about Lieutenant Harris is that my first 4 years on the police department, I had no idea what he looked like. He was one of the few officers who came into the police department, and because of his youthful looks, went immediately undercover, particularly in our school system and other places, and was responsible for some major drug arrests. That's why he went on to become such a great narcotics investigator. When you would see Lieutenant Harris, then he would always have his complete face covered and his eyes, and I never knew what he looked like until he became a sergeant and went to patrol and had to go through FTO because he had never done that. He came out of the academy and went undercover for several years. He's a great individual who led our department for many years with honor, and we accept this award on his behalf and wish him a speedy recovery and good health.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Evans. This time, we will, if there's no objection, return to the order of our agenda and begin with CPO 2022-141, Councilwoman Brown. And if there's no objection, we also have 143, and we'll do the other two later because we need to considering those two on all three readings, CPR 2022-20 and 2022-21, but I believe we can do 141 and 143 together. All right. Councilwoman Brown?
President, I move that CPR 2021 and 21 be passed on all three readings.
You said, what we're going to do now is accept them into committee. In fact, you can do 141, 143, 20, and 21 at this point, and later we need to consider 2 of these on all 3 readings. But at this point, you can receive. Okay? It's been moved and properly. So really, the committee needs to, so the members of the Finance Committee need to accept it. So it's basically just you and Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell tonight, right? So the Finance Committee has before it CPO 2022-141 and 143 and CPR 2022-20 and Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. Thank you, Councilman Barnes Caldwell. Councilman Barnes Caldwell, Planning and Development. 142. Your microphone.
President, Planning and Development has CPO 2022-142. For the record, I approve this for reporting out. Councilman Washington, is that you? No.
It's going to be Ty and myself.
Oh, I'm
Yep.
sorry.
Councilwoman Atkins and myself will
Okay.
get in trouble.
Councilman Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. President, a majority of the Planning and Development approved CPO 2022-142 for reporting out.
Thank you, Councilman Barnes Caldwell. Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell, Ways and Means,
Okay, that's 144?
and 145.
Okay. Mr. President, Ways and Means would like to report out CPO 2022-144 and CPO 2022-145. For the record, Ways and Means approves this. Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
And
I'm a-
Washington.
And Councilman Washington. For the record, we approve these ordinances for reporting out.
Thank you, Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. This time, we have concluded our assignment of council pending ordinances and resolutions on first reading. We will now have our special and select.
Mr. President,
Councilman Lay.
as you know, unless some type of emergency committee meeting is called, this is my last day on the council. I've enjoyed it. I know probably some of you think I haven't. This is probably overall as fine a group that I have served with on any board, and I've been on 4 boards. For sure, I believe you're absolutely more competent than some of the people I've run into in Lake County. I've made some friends here. One person I probably have talked to every day is Council Witherspoon. We constantly communicate, and I guess he even ensures that I have water. He probably don't realize I appreciate that because I can't pick it up, to be truthful. I've been advised by my medical doctor not to do so. I certainly have enjoyed you, Mr. President, as president. We disagree, but I don't think we really have been disagreeable with each other. I certainly have enjoyed serving with the ladies, both Councilwoman Caldwell and Councilwoman Brown. Again, I've disagreed. Haven't had much time here with Councilman Washington, but I did serve 4 years on the Calumet Township Board. I've enjoyed Mr. Williams. He's somewhat of a unique personality to me, but he tends to want to call people. And I told the mayor when I first became a member of the council, I would do any and everything possible to ensure that his 4 years, I thought I'd be here 4 years at the time, would be successful. I think I have upheld that promise. And I certainly, first and foremost, I was a member of this council. So even when, for some reason, you suspected I was not, that was incorrect. It was something that was being proposed by the executive branch that I absolutely agreed with. And long as I agreed with it, I simply was going to attempt to see that it went through this council. I've only served where I was a member of the council under 2 mayors, and that was Mayor Scott King in '96 and Mayor Jerome Prince. I certainly believe the second one has been the better one. I think it's important. I think, and this is really unique, where I'm so much older than pretty much, maybe with the exception of, well, I can't say, I'm much older than Councilwoman Mary Brown. She just graduated quickly. But I really have enjoyed it. I really have. It's unfortunate Ty's, well, Ty, you can call me Gloria, that we are among friends now. I'm just sorry she's not here. I remember when she first became vice president, I voted against that. I take it back. What I did was to abstain. I believe that's the only time I abstained since I've been here. And since then, in subsequent years, I voted yes. She is probably the hardest working person on the council. I think she goes into a lot of work that should be under the executive branch, but be as it may, if she wants to do it, she's free to do it. But overall, I've enjoyed it, and I think I'm more happier here than I will be in Lake County. I really mean that. They will probably be unhappy that I'm coming too. So, yep. And this council probably will be happy I'm going. So, so it depends on who you get to first. But I've enjoyed all of you, and I'm not sure what, in fact, I can do. But if you call upon me and it's within my power to do it, consider it done. I will do it. And I will be back quite frequently to ask for certain things. I will not disappear into Lake County. I will actually come back here because my interest really is here. Although I now represent Griffith and Highland, 90% of my vote came out of the city of Gary. So I will be back, and your meetings are in the evening. The county council meets in the day. I suspect they don't have anybody coming in. And I would assume they don't even want them to come in, or they wouldn't be meeting at 10 o'clock in the day. But I've been elected, and I certainly will serve everybody, Highland, Griffith, and Gary. And again, thank you. It's, I mean, I finally have been on the board where I'm the oldest too. But I was talking to Dozier Allen the other day, who will be 92 in January, and who, you know, over the phone is still rather sharp to be 92. He's no more forgettable than he was at 62. I started out that with him when he was that age. And, you know, most of our friends are no longer here. When you look around and most of your friends are no longer around, people that you really know, when more people are gone than here, then you will realize that is a sign of being old. And old is not that bad other than that I have to walk slower. So again, thank you, Mr. President, and the rest of the council, even though I don't think I have to call your name. And same thing go to you, Mr. Mayor. I know at some time you didn't think I was supporting you, but Mr. Garvin constantly accused me of working for you. Well, you shouldn't have said it. All righty, thank you.
Thank you. Well, since we're honoring our folks who are leaving us, we also want to, first let me respond to you, and then we're going to turn to Councilman Weatherspoon. Certainly, this has been quite a ride, more than we ever expected when we started at the beginning of January of 2020. And I've come to respect you as a mentor, as a friend, and we have very interesting intellectual debates and legal discussions, and we mostly agree. We just arrive at our positions sometimes through different pathways. But I congratulate you on your transition to the Lake County Council, and I know I'm going to come to some of those meetings too when I'm out in Crown Point, because I'm sure that will become way more interesting than their last meeting on December 13th was. So I look forward to continuing to work with you as a fellow public servant in the city of Gary. Any other comments, reflections for Councilman Lay, Councilman Brewer?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would have to say congratulations to Councilman Lay. It's been an honor to work with Councilman Lay down through the years, and I say that because when I came on, he was the attorney for the council, and become president, we worked even closer together before he left, and then he came back and he sat on the council. But Councilman Lay has since even before I got on the council when I was running, Councilman Lay has always reached out and been a helping hand to me. A family at the same time. I want to tell him honestly I do appreciate it. I know we joke a lot back and forth, but I appreciate your friendship. You've been there through some tough times in my family. When my stepfather passed and my grandfather passed, you told me that they was gone, and majority of the people going to be at the funeral will be probably my friends because their people are gone. So I do understand what you're saying. You even went a little step further and told me, well, you don't have a father now, like you got to look up to me now to be daddy. So, but I appreciate the humor, all the different breakfast, dinners that we eat together. And majority of the time you do pay. I appreciate that also. But I will miss you on the council for your wisdom, your advice, your leadership. I told you probably just a couple of weeks ago, it may seem like I don't pay attention to what you say, but I take in a lot what you do say. I retain a lot that you do say, and I do appreciate my mentors and my elders that's before me on the council. I think that's something of value that we can take as younger people on the council, to look up to ones that have been here a while and learn something from them. So I do appreciate your leadership, and I look forward to coming out to see you in action at the county council. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Other members? Councilman Washington?
The thing that I love about you, Councilman Lay, is that in politics, you are not a personal person. You don't take it personal. You're about the law. And when I served with you for 4 years on the Calumet Township Board, people expected that we would get into it a lot. But I learned so much from you by being on the Township Board because you know the law. You don't take things personal. I think people misunderstand you because you know the law and you know what should be done. And when people get in their feelings, I just tell them, hey, I was told that Councilman Lay been wearing a three-piece suit since he was in the 6th grade carrying a briefcase. I talked to many of your friends, they said since the 6th grade, he's been carrying a briefcase and wearing a three-piece suit. So anybody that's been wearing a three-piece suit carrying a briefcase since the 6th grade, they know something about the law. Very educated. Many people don't know that you're a chess champion. And I hope that they are ready for you in Lake County, because I think that you will bring a lot of substance and a lot of things to the county that most people don't look at. And I wish you well in your new endeavor, and I wish you well with your health. Godspeed to you, my brother. You are an elder statesman for this city.
Amen. Councilman Weatherspoon?
Thank you, President Godwin. Councilman Lay, it's been absolutely great. You have been very insightful for me. I've learned a lot from you, and I look to continue to learn from you. You have been an absolute asset to this council. The knowledge, the history that you bring has been very important in our decision-making and getting things done. With all considerations that my budget now will be tied totally up under you, I will continue to bring you that water, and maybe even more. So please expect that. So congratulations, and hey, look forward to working with you.
Mr. President, I should say
Councilman Lay?
one thing. You probably, as you have a problem with your staff, I assure you, your staff is quite competent, starting with Ms. Chapman and, of course, Ms. Smith. I assure you they're quite competent. They're young people, but out in Crown Point, I'm not even sure they're going to get me on the insurance by the 1st of January. That's really up in the air. So since they're going to hold the replacement for myself and Mr. Witherspoon, we may have to delay leaving here because I'm not sure what they're doing out there. But they also treat me as if this is the first time I've ever been elected, which is sad, but that's the way they do it. But again, I think your staff here, even though you might find that they did something wrong once in a while, I assure you out there they get things right once in a while. And I thought I owed them that, especially Ms. Chapman. She's put up with me, and I'll say again, she's put up with me. So I really consider her, well, she's like a daughter or a niece to me. I talk to her all of the time about things and try to give her my opinion on it, and she seems to accept it. And that's it. I just thought I should say that. And that same applies for Miss Smith, Sherry Smith, and Miss Lane. I mean, and the other young lady, Miss Franklin, rarely do I speak with her, but she's very cordial when you do. But I think you got to, no matter what they do tomorrow, it could be worse. Take my word on it. It could be much, much worse. So you made good selections. And I have to say this final word. I now will allow Mr. Williams to be the attorney. In other words, I'm sure if anyone is happy to see me go, it's Attorney Renzo Williams, the third. He will now be the attorney by himself. That makes him the parliamentarian, the attorney, and the 10th member of the council.
All right. Any other council members want to offer reflections for Councilman Lay? Councilman Williams?
Thank you. Councilman, I'm really gonna miss you coming into this whole season of trying to become an elected official. You and I have had several conversations. You're a very close friend to the family. As a matter of fact, you're way back to the roots of my family. We sit and talk about a lot of the times from 18th and Adams Street and everything else. I want to thank you for taking those late night phone calls from me after the council meetings when I just couldn't understand why the vote went a certain way. And I understand that you are a very educated man, and this is about the law with you. I'm quite sure that your continued success in the direction you're moving will be bright with the light of God, and congratulations.
Thank you. Other council members? All right, well, now we will turn to, did someone say? Now we'll turn to Councilman Weatherspoon. We certainly know that you've been elevated to the Calumet Township Assessor, and congratulate you. We'll be seeing your name on some of our assessments, I suppose, maybe. Mr. Nowacki, I shouldn't say that. But we certainly congratulate you on that achievement and look forward to continuing to work with you, and I'm sure you have some thoughts you'd like to share as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. President. You know, it's been a absolute pleasure to sit on this council with you all. I have learned a lot from each and every one of you. You know, one of the things that I can, you know, I've watched the council for many, many years, and I truly believe that this is probably the most talented council, you know, that has ever existed. I mean, you look around at pictures of the various council people here, and with the expertise that we all bring to the table, our own personal expertise, I believe that this is probably the best council in terms of talent that has ever served. My only regret about this council is that I think that there have been some disservices done, intentional, or should I say some disservices done by events that have happened that we have had control of and some that we have not had control of. For example, you know, many people forget, you know, a lot of the citizens forget that the world was literally shut down for 2 years under our term, you know, and that alone kept us from accomplishing quite a bit, you know. But at the same time, I think that we also missed the mark on some things ourselves that we had total control of. And personally, I would like to see this council do better, because honestly, the citizens are looking. Commentary that I hear in the streets sometimes is not too flattering. A gentleman asked me the other day, you know, what is it going to take, you know, to get the council and the administration to get along? You know, point is, there is a perception out there that we have to do all we can to overcome. We've missed the mark on things that can move this community forward. You know, it's okay to have your own opinions. It's okay to say no. You know, it's okay to feel very strong as to what you feel and what you believe in. But what does the citizens of this community a disservice is when we don't seek compromise. Because, you know, we can't get everything that we want all the time. Therefore, there has to be, you know, someone has to get up and walk down the hall and say, hey, what is it that's going to take to get this done? You know, it has to happen. Otherwise, we're doing a disservice to the community. We're holding the community hostage when we do that. I'd like to see some improvements there, honestly. As Councilman Lay said, I'm going to be here. I'm not going anywhere in terms of my attendance, in terms of participation with the City Council. I'll be here to offer suggestions, to speak as Joe's citizen, you might say. You know, so now I'll be speaking from the assessor's standpoint. This has been a great ride. It honestly has. I've learned a lot. I want to thank also the citizens, the residents of the 2nd District for giving me this opportunity. You know, I think that we have truly left the district better than we have found it when we first came in, and that's no slight toward, you know, prior councilmen by any stretch of the imagination. But I look at the accomplishments that have happened, you know, from tearing down of various buildings on 5th Avenue, the planned demolition of those of future buildings. I look at the Druid project, which we are watching Edison School be revitalized, not revitalized, but redone right before our very eyes. And the residents are very happy about that. I look at the planned improvements of the Edison School pavilion, the street paving, things of that nature that have gone on in the district. And there's still a lot more work to be done, but I do believe that there have been some accomplishments made. And again, I do believe that I am leaving the district better than I found it. But, you know, to my colleagues, you know, thank you all. Council Lady Brown, thank you. I appreciate you. Linda, I appreciate you. Councilman Brewer, I think we've become stronger friends. Dee, as I refer to you as Dee, you know where we are. Same thing with you, Councilman Williams and Councilman Gowan. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that I have made a friend with you.
Likewise.
Councilman Lane, you will continue to get that water, I promise. All right. Well, again, thank you all very much.
Thank you. Council members like to offer reflections.
Mr. President,
Councilman Brewer.
let me say, it's been an honor to work with Councilman Weatherspoon on the Gary Common Council. It amazed me that when you see a person in one capacity, you never know where they may end up in the future. I first met you when you was the General Service Director, and I ran with you quite a bit over there. I got a chance to see your passion in that job. And as you explained to me how early you get up in the morning when you were going to get the Kimbrough workers early in the morning. And I took a very good interest in that because you saw at that time that you wanted better for the city. You knew what you had to work with, but that wasn't good enough for you. You knew how you can get additional resources and manpower in, and you took advantage of that. And putting yourself first and getting up early in the morning to go pick these guys up so they can be on time with the rest of the team when they got there. I appreciate that then. I appreciate being able to work with you as a council member inside of the 2nd District. As you stated earlier, COVID did hamper a lot of things that we probably could have did with the residents of the 2nd District, but we did what we could do. So you was a great asset to our 2nd District. As a councilman on this council, I'll miss working with you, but I know this is not the end. You still be our assessor, so I'll still communicate with you and look forward to our future. Bless you.
Council members. Councilman Washington.
I'm missing you, brother, because you only been here for 4 months. I've been here for 4 months, and you get ready to be the assessor. But what I can truly say, being a new member at large, we have talked literally almost every day, and you have held me by the hand and explaining to me how it is on the council. And I think people don't understand, yeah, I was on the Calumet Township Board for 8 years, but it's nothing compares to being on the city council. And a lot of the things that you showed me in the district, a lot of the things that you've done, and I know Cozy personally. I know you're a good father. And we met years ago as precinct committee persons. He was the captain of the 2nd District. And I know that the love that you have for the city, and I don't have a doubt in my mind that you will be an awesome assessor because you did everything possible. And again, I'll be honest, there were haters out there. We talked about that. But you got the necessary certifications that were possible to take you into the next level of what God has for you. So we'll continue to pray for you. And as the president said, we'll probably see your name on some of those assessments. Godspeed.
Thank you.
Councilman Williams.
Thank you. Well, we started together, but you're taking off. I feel that you're going to do great with your new role. As I said with Councilman Lay, we'll miss those late night calls, those weekend chats, and I know you will succeed. All right. I'm still waiting on my chili.
You got it.
You said you had best chili in Gary, so I want the chili. So I'll be there for you, bro.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. Any other reflections?
Mr. President,
Councilman Lay.
I assure you I will support you in the county, but I don't expect a lot of increase in my taxes or assessments. But no, it's sort of strange. I'm not sure that, and first name's okay with me. I'm not sure Coles and I really got along prior to arrival here on this council. We may have been more political adversaries than anything else. But since here, and we sort of passed over, made a joke about the water, but that has been very helpful to me. I mean, it may not seem like much to others, but you know, constantly was checking on me and asking me if there was something you could do when you went to Costco, Lowe's, or wherever you would go. And that has been helpful. Whenever you needed to complain about somebody on the council, I expect to hear from you. Then you complain, and I'd say, okay, that's Mr. Brewer. That's the way he is. He hasn't complained about you. I'm using your name, but no, I've enjoyed it. He approaches problem solving different than I do, but I guess we all approach problem solving different. But I know he started out, he was going to run for several other things, and then he finally decided on the assessor. He was possibly running for some things within the city. At one point, even Lake County Council District 2. And finally, he decided he was going to run some other things, but that's not important, that he was running for assessor. I absolutely supported him for assessor. I didn't do a great deal, but whatever he called upon me to do, I did. And that pretty much people here support and will support when they seek re-election. I don't have a problem with that. But again, he became a telephone friend. I mean, we rarely saw each other, and whenever we did, he would, come to me, and if I needed something, he constantly was asking me, could he do this, could he do that? I think once he brought me, well, didn't you bring me a lot of chicken wings, and I can't cook? Did you do that? But I think you did. Somebody brought me a bag of them, of course.
I offered.
I wasn't able to cook them, but they looked pretty good until I threw them out. But again, I know he's going to be successful over there. I think he will probably be more different to them than I am to the Lake County Council. I don't think it. Again, we're leaving the council. We're not leaving Gary, so we will see each other. And I would assume your phone number is not going to change. I'm not going to change mine. So I hope our friendship continues.
Absolutely.
And I think you done a reasonable, good job here. When you wanted something done, you would advocate for it, and in most cases, you got it done. And so I've enjoyed it, and it's not coming to an end. As far as I'm concerned, it will continue. And I wish you the very best in all sincerity. If I can be helpful in the county, I do know the county council is over your budget. I'm not sure who they will assign to. They probably will try to assign you to me, I would guess. If they assign me to anyone, that's up in there. They may decide not to put me on any committee, which that really won't bother me, but that's up to them. That'd be even less work. But whatever I can do, call upon me. If I can't do it, I'll tell you. If I can, you can go to bed with it.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President.
All right, Councilman Weatherspoon.
Yeah, one other thing I'd like to do also, I'd like to thank the staff. I'd like to take the time to thank my administrative assistant, Whitney. I'd like to thank Ms. Lane, Sherry, and Chris. I think they've done a great job in the time period that we've been here. And also, I would like to thank, the staff, our media team as well. They too they've had their struggles, but again, they've done a pretty good job. Mr. Mayor, thank you to you and your staff as well. There have been some things that they have helped me with, and they have never hesitated to do so. So again, thank you and your staff as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other reflections? Well, we do have a presentation, and what I'd like to do is to take a group photo with the clocks that we're presenting to both Councilman Lay as well as Councilman Weatherspoon. So we're going to do the photos. If all council members could line up here, and we'll come down and take a photo.
At this point, what are we going to do with the cakes in the back?
We're not going to eat them now, so.
That's a lot of cake back there.
We'll deal with that.
All right.
Okay. All right. So if all council members could join here in the center.
Oh, wait a minute.
This is for Councilman Lay.
Yeah. Make sure I can stand up.
Good. Roll it back now.
I can stand up.
What we can do is do just stand here, and then, you all can, just still stand around this joint. So maybe one of you here will walk, and then, maybe someone else come bounce it out on this side. Yeah, all right. All right, everybody, okay? All right.
Okay.
Congratulations. Absolutely. We got time.
Hey, Whitney. I wanted to show you.
Mr. President, while everyone's still getting to their seats,
Yes.
just want to add, Councilman Weatherspoon, you
Size that I meant.
used to always, as Councilman Lay, we would used to always go to dinner. You always give me shirts and things of that nature there, and I do appreciate the gifts you used to give me. You didn't have to do it, but I think we wear the same size, and they wasn't used shirts, they were new shirts, and I do appreciate it, so, you don't have to stop the love because you're moving to a different seat, so I just wanted to put that out there, Mr. President. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm losing weight, so I might have some old shirts, the new shirts too, that you can share as well.
Nice shirts.
That's right. Well, we are still in the council meeting, everybody, and so we're going to continue with our special and select. I did want to, all right, so we are going to continue with our agenda this evening. I did want to acknowledge the condolences for Mr. Terry Stephen Wise. He is was the uncle of former councilwoman and current State Representative Reagan Hatcher. His mother was a Hatcher, and he was the owner, born in 1942 in Michigan City, Indiana. Graduated from Elston Senior High School in 1960. He started with his wife, Jerry,
That's good.
Wise Choice Limousine Service, where he served as vice president of the company. He passed away on Sunday, December 4th, at 80 years old after a lengthy illness, leaving his wife, Jerry, as well as his children, Candace Hope Wise and Raphael Barker. We certainly want to offer condolences to the Wise and Hatcher families, as well as our former member and current State Rep Reagan Hatcher, for the passing of Mr. Terry Wise. I want to make sure I made that announcement today. Are there any other items for special and select? Councilman Brewer?
Mr. President, I want to also send my condolences out to Anton Pinterest and the passing of his daughter. Also to the Johnny Barber family, the Barber family, and the passing of Johnny Barber, who will be funeralized this Thursday at Freeman Temple Church of God in Christ. Also, we had a snow plan meeting December the 7th, outlining the snow plan for the city of Gary for the remainder of 2022 to 2023. A lot of different changes is taking place, going to be taking place there. We are well prepared. I know there's a storm that's on the horizon for tomorrow into Friday, from Thursday into Friday. Want to say that the city is prepared. I want to thank the Public Works Department and all their hard work, our IT department and the upgrades that they're putting in place where you can actually monitor the snow plan that's taking place. If you go to the Gary website, it will give you the prompts to be able to monitor the plan. All equipment is up, ready to go. Want to assure the citizens. Want to ask the citizens to abide by the no snow route parking rule. If there is snow that's fallen, that's over 2 inches, your cars need to be removed by yourself and hopefully not by Gary PD. So I just want to remind everyone, we do have an upcoming snow plan. If it's a major snow plan where the city is at a state emergency, there will be a broadcast that will be sent to you via your cell phone. I believe the mayor's voice will be on that cast that will go out. So I'll ask everyone to pay close attention to any upcoming snow events that we may have. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilman Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President. 2 announcements. One, December 24th, Christmas Eve, I speak of we, Dr. Vernon Smith, Representative Vernon Smith, myself, and some other individuals that are on the committee, Robin. We are sponsoring, we usually have the Spirit of Christmas dinner. This year, we're looking for a place to host it, but had some problems, so now we're doing the Spirit of Christmas giveaway. So we have Christmas toys and items for children. That event will be December 24th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Calumet Township Multipurpose Center. The address is 1900 West 41st Avenue, Gary, Indiana. Again, that event will start from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Calumet Township Multipurpose Center, 1900 West 41st Avenue in Gary, Indiana. The second announcement I would like to announce to residents of Gary as well as the 6th District is a mobile food distribution that I will be putting together for individuals. It's going to be at the Glen Park Academy at 5002 Madison Street, Gary, Indiana. That will be Thursday, January 12th. It's a partnership between myself and the Norfolk Center Food Bank. So January 12th, 2023, 12 p.m. Come to the front parking lot at 50 to Madison. This event will only feed 150 to 160 families, so you have to come on time. Thank you.
Thank you. Other council members for special,
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Washington.
Yes, I would like to give condolences to the family and to church members of Mary Steele Agee. She was a former superintendent of the Gary Public School Corporation when I first got elected, and to her husband, Elder Agee, to her son and daughter. Just got the news yesterday. Lifetime employee of the Gary Community School Corporation, and she was also the executive director of the Northwest Indiana Urban League for a time. So again, condolences to the family of Mary Steele Agee.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Councilman Lay.
I add my condolences also to Councilman Washington. I in fact called and spoke with Reverend Agee after Councilman Brewer informed me of her passing. I was very neglectful. Even though I argue a great deal with Attorney Lockett, I enjoy it. I try to keep from being impolite, but she makes that difficult. I sure enjoy Mr. Harper, Attorney Trent McCain, who I guess the 1st of January I can refer to him as Deputy Mayor Trent McCain, but not until the 1st of January. But I've enjoyed working with the staff of the City of Gary, and I was neglectful in not saying so. Ms. Cynthia Pruitt, she's been very helpful, and I've enjoyed working with her. But I can't think of anyone, even though I may disagree with, but I enjoy working with Attorney Rodney Pope. I know sometimes it may seem that I disagree maybe with some of the proposals, because ultimately I am a council. So certain things I will not yield to the executive branch. I think it should come here because we are equal branches of government. But again, it's all in being adversarial. It's nothing personal. I think I once told Attorney Lockett, it didn't matter what people said, I would support her. But I know sometimes she probably think I don't, but that's just the way I do it. And if I offended her or any other member of the council, I apologize for that, because it was never my intent to offend. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Other members for special and select? Okay, well, that will conclude our special and select. No member of the public signed in at the appropriate time to speak. So we will now begin with our council pending ordinances and resolutions on third and/or final reading.
CPL 2022-109, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9159 entitled Towing Services Used by the City and all related municipal code sections, sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary.
Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell.
That the Ways and Means Committee would like to CPO 2022-109 on third reading.
We're going to postpone it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's that one. Okay, Ways and Means would like to move this back to committee with a meeting for our meeting for January the 3rd.
So we're going to postpone it to the council meeting on January 3rd,
We're going to postpone it,
to the council meeting.
for the council meeting, January the 3rd.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Somebody said that.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Committee yesterday.
Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell?
Yes.
Councilman Lang?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
President Godwin?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2022-109 is postponed until the regular Common Council meeting on January 3rd, 2023.
Mr. President, point of order.
Councilman Lang.
On that, that's fine. There's some things need to be changed. It's not going to the committees.
We're going to consider it on the 3rd, and hopefully that will be worked out, and we'll have a good draft, and either a very healthy debate on the 3rd, or we'll have to refer it to committee after that if there needs to be further discussion.
But I think one thing for sure on that, and although I know it's gone, the way it is worded, at the end, all related parts of the code. I mean, that makes no sense. That means you're being asked to amend something that you don't know what it is. In other words, all related municipal codes mean there may be some codes you don't want to get rid of that they're now saying we're changing. So they probably should remove that, I would think, and be more specific. We are passing a law. That's all the ordinance is, and that's too broad. But I won't be here January.
Maybe, you
3rd.
said you're going to be here on the 3rd, so
Oh.
you got to sign up for public comment. All right. Please proceed, Madam Clerk.
CPL 2022-113, an ordinance concerning real property action to bring compliance, expenses or cost of action as a lien against property or bill to owner, collection of delinquency, sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary.
Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell.
Mr. President, the Ways and Means Committee moves for passage of CPO 2022-113 on third and final.
It's been moved and properly seconded. We'll have the overview at this time. Attorney Lockett.
Thank you, President Godwin.
Oh, I understand, I'm understanding from the clerk that there's an amendment. I don't have an amendment on the ordinance I have, so is there a newer version?
There should have been, that was passed around by.
Okay, maybe it's,
Attorney
another version do you all have an amendment on yours? Okay. Does you all have I don't think anyone has the amended version, unless that was, I have a lot of papers up here, but I don't see 113. Okay. So 113 does not appear to, okay. This
I can make
version,
copies.
there is a version here that does have one. Can you state what the amendment is?
Yes.
It's dated for 12/20, which
Yes,
is
sir.
today. Thank you.
Do you want me to start with what the amendment is? Just on suggestion of Judge Monroe, I took out for occupied and unoccupied homes and left just this ordinance would apply to unoccupied real estate parcels.
Okay.
That was the only amendment.
Okay. So is there a motion to amend by substitution as stated, CPO 2022-113?
So moved, Mr. President.
It's been moved. Is there a second? It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk, and this is on the amendment.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown? Councilwoman Caldwell? Councilman Lay?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams? President Godwin?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2022-113 is amended by substitution. This time, we will have an overview of CPO 2022-113 as amended.
Thank you, President Godwin. This is an ordinance concerning collecting reimbursement for the city of Gary for expenses for cleaning a resident's property. This ordinance will allow us to give property owners a 10-day written notice that they need to clean up the debris on their property, and if they do not clean it, the city can enter and clean with one of our workers. With this ordinance, we then will be allowed to place a lien on the property in the amount of the cleanup plus expenses. We currently do this process through the UBO. We currently have this on the books that we can do this process through the UBO process. But this would allow us to clean and have the money go into the general fund where there are no restrictions on where it can be spent. Again, the amendment was in regards to Judge Monroe, who brought up the point that there may be a breach of the peace if they went onto occupied property. So I amended and took out occupied and just left it as unoccupied properties. And this ordinance is only for reimbursement for our money and time spent with our workers. And this does no way implicate the current OV process, which goes through city court.
All right, thank you, Attorney Lockett. Questions from council members? All right, seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown? Councilwoman Caldwell? Councilman Lay?
No.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
And President Godwin?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 7 yes, 1 no.
With a vote of 7 yeas and 1 no, CPO 2022-113 as amended passes and is so ordered.
Thank you, President Godwin.
CPO 2022-118, an ordinance appropriating funds for the special revenue budget for the fiscal year beginning January the 1st, 2023, ending December 31st, 2023. Sponsored by Mayor Jerome A. Prince, City of Gary, Malik Harper, City Controller.
Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. Okay, so we're going to move for passage. It's been moved. All right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. There's an amendment on this. Is there a motion to amend by substitution? I can't make it. So, all right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Could you state what the amendment is?
Yes, thank you, President Godwin. CPO 2022-118 is amended, and the special revenue budget, the following changes occur. The ordinance form was changed to reflect the current year of the passed and adopted items on the first page there. Also, the changes occur with the courts. The city courts was missing salary pages for Department 242, SAPS, and Department 8030, salary fees for judicial. They added those pages in. It did not change the dollar amount. The pages were just missing. The correcting department is 2911. The court's revenue page was corrected to show the actual dollar amounts of the cash receipts. Adding the missing budget sheets for Department 485, that is the budget for mitigation. That was added to the special revenue budget for the courts. The next item of changes is the fire department. The fire department revenue sheet was adjusted, adding the cash reserve amount of $680K. The position of EMS biller administrator was removed. For the health department was revised, correcting the salary of the employee listed under the Department of 0246 for HIV prevention. That salary was lowered from $40K to $37K due to the decrease in the grant. Those are all of the changes of special revenue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. Any questions about those noted changes? I know that Councilwoman Atkins sent a detailed list, and we talked about that those have been covered.
Yes.
This time, we'll take a vote on the amendment by substitution as stated.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown? Yes. Councilwoman Caldwell? Yes. Councilman Lang?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
President Godwin?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2022-118 is amended by substitution. We'll now have a global overview of CPO 2022-118 as amended.
Thank you, President Godwin. CPO 2022-118 is the special revenue budget for the city of Gary for 2023. Various departments are requesting the council approval of the overall budget for 2023. As mentioned, the amended changes were reflected in the budget copies that you have now today. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion from council members? Okay, seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown? Yes. Councilwoman Caldwell? Yes. Councilman Lay?
Yes.
Councilman Washington? Councilman Washington?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
And President Godwin?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2022-118 as amended passes and is so ordered.
Point of order, Mr. President.
I'm sorry. CPO 2022-118 as amended is adopted.
Mr. President,
Councilman Lay?
you made a statement that unless there's something specifically in our rules that prohibit it, in this group, you can in fact make a motion in parliamentary procedure without relinquishing the chair. It probably is always better to allow your other members to do it, but you can make the motion. unless there's something specific in our rules to stop you from doing so. I don't have the rules in front of me, so I don't think there's anything.
Well, I agree with you. And I know we talked about that for another matter that's forthcoming. I prefer not to make the motion, but Attorney Williams is going to review that to confirm.
Well, I will be gone, but I assure you I'm right about that. I'm sure I'm right about it.
All right. Thank you. All right, please proceed, Madam Clerk.
CPO 2022-126, an ordinance amending the transfer of funds for transfer and appropriations for omnibus equipment needs for the Gary Fire Department line items, sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary, Malik Harper, City Controller.
Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell.
Ways and Means Committee moves for passage for CPO 2022-126 on third and final.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Just want to confirm that there's no amendments.
No.
Okay. Okay. At this time, we'll have the overview. Mr. Harper.
Thank you, President Godwin. CPO 2022-126, the Fire Department is asking the council today to approve a transfer of $192K that was previously approved in July for the omnibus equipment needs. The funds were originally placed in the line item of machinery and equipment. However, the fire department needs to transfer the funds to other materials in order to complete the purchases of additional equipment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. Questions, discussion from council members? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell?
Yes.
Councilman Lay?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
President Godwin?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2022-126 passes and is so ordered.
CPO 2022-127, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9948 and ordinance number 9949 to make changes to the 2022 operating salary budgets for the City Courts Department and the City Clerk Department, sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary, Malik Harper, City Controller.
Councilman Barnes Caldwell.
Mr. President, the Ways and Means Committee moves for passage for CPO 2022-127 on third and final.
It's been moved and properly seconded. At this time, we will have the overview. Is there an amendment? There is.
Yes.
Okay, so is there a motion to amend by substitution?
Mr. President, Ways and Means Committee would like to amend by substitution. CPO 2022-127.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Controller Harper, can you give us the change?
Yes, thank you, President Godwin. CPO 2022-127, the following changes occurred during the committee meeting. That was a request from Judge Monroe to increase the acts of $60K to $80K for her transfer amount. The dollar amount is coming from the salaries and wages being transferred into machinery and equipment.
Any questions or discussion from council members?
Just one question. You
Councilman Lay?
verified the availability of the funds.
Yes, to answer your question, she has several open positions that hasn't been hired for.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none at this time, we'll vote on the amendment by substitution.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown? Councilwoman Caldwell?
Yes.
Councilman Lay?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
President Godwin?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2022-127 is amended by substitution. We'll now have the global overview as amended.
Yes, thank you, President Godwin. CPO 2022-127, the courts and the clerk department is asking the council to approve and approve their transfer requests. This ordinance was amended for 12/20/2022. The clerk and the courts is amending 2022 general fund budget to transfer funds from their salaries in the amount of $80,000 to the line item of machinery and equipment for courts. And the clerk is requesting to transfer funds from their salaries and wages to the line item of current charges in the amount of $250K. Both departments have several open positions, and that they are requesting to transfer the funds to cover department expenditures. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. Any questions or discussion?
Mr.
Councilman Lay?
President, I guess the only concern that I have, why do we have all of these open positions? They're not needed, and they were budgeted. So that probably need to be looked at. In previous years, they transferred to salaries. But again, we just shouldn't have all these open positions, especially, I believe, if they're needed, we can certainly hire people. But at the end of each year, I've noticed that change is being made. It's very suspect to me whether it's just fat built into the budget with no intent of hiring those employees. So I would look at that in the future.
Any other questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown? Councilwoman Caldwell? Councilman Lay?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
President Godwin?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2022-127 as amended passes and is so ordered.
CPO 2022-129, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9541, entitled an ordinance approving salaries and operating budgets for the City of Gary's Community Development Block Grant Program, Program Year 2022, Emergency Solutions Grant Program, Program Year 2022, Home Program, Program Year 2022, Neighborhood Stabilization Program, Program Year 2022, and Foreclosure Prevention Program, Program Year 2022, sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary, Malik Harper, City Controller, Councilman Flores L. Lay, Councilman at Large, Councilwoman Ty Atkins, Councilwoman of the 4th District.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell.
the Ways and Means Committee would like to move for passage of CPO 2022-129 on third and final reading.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there a motion to amend by substitution?
I don't have
The version I have has one dated for 12/20.
one. Okay. Mr. President, Ways and Means would like to move for amendment for CPO 2022-129.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Controller Harper, can you give an overview of the amendment?
Yes, thank you, President Godwin. CPO 2022-129, the following changes for CDBG budget that was approved in September occurred. The Rainbow Shelter staff received new titles. The change from caseworker advocate to client advocate. No other changes there. The bottom line of the budget remained the same. Youth Services Bureau added a part-time food service director. No other changes occurred. Basically, that position was there previously. I think they just added it back. The bottom line of the budget remained the same. Lead poisoning prevention program for the health department added additional compensation to the lead case manager position, which is part-time, so that the managers work 3 days per week instead of 2 days per week. Those are the only changes per Arlene Cohen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we'll now vote on the amendment by substitution.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown? Councilwoman Caldwell? Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Washington,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
President Dawes.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2022-129 is amended by substitution. We'll now have the global overview of CPO 2022-129 as amended.
Yes, thank you, President Godwin. CPO 2022-129 was amended for the community development budget that was approved in September. The changes were mentioned, and the budgeted items are included within the ordinance. The following departments in this amendment was the Rainbow Shelter, and the Youth Services Bureau, and the Lead Poisoning Prevention. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown, Councilwoman Caldwell, Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Washington,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
and President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2022-129 as amended passes and is so ordered.
Mr. President, pending ordinances and resolutions on third and final.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This time we'll have council pending ordinances and resolutions on second reading.
CPO 2022-141, an ordinance creating two funds to account for opioid settlement fund, sponsored by Mayor Jerome A. Prince, City of Gary, Lake Harper, City Controller. You want me to continue?
We'll do all, if there's no objection. Let's do just 141 and 143. Please proceed, Madam Clerk, with 143 if there's no objection.
CPO 2022-143, an ordinance authorizing the City of Gary, Lake County, Indiana, to make temporary loans to meet current running expenses for the use of the general fund and anticipation of current taxes levied in the year 2022, collectible in the year 2023, estimated to be received on or before December 30th, 2023, authorizing the issuance of tax anticipation warrants to evidence such loans and the sale of such warrants, and appropriating pledging the taxes to be received in such funds to the punctual payment of such warrants, including the interest thereon. Sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary, Lake Harper, City Controller.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilman Barnes Caldwell.
The Finance Committee would like to make a motion to have a committee meeting for CPO 2022-141 and CPO 2022-143. Tuesday, January the 1st at 5 p.m.
I think it's 31st. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tuesday, January the 31st at 5 p.m. and a public meeting January.
It'll be February. I would just say the first regular meeting of February. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, it's been moved. Is there a second? Been moved and properly seconded. Any questions or discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Brewer?
why are these being pushed out so far?
That was chairman of the committee's request. Any other question or discussion? All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer,
No.
Councilwoman Brown, Councilwoman Caldwell, Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Washington,
No.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
No.
Councilman Williams,
No.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 4 no.
With a vote of 4 yes and 4 no, it fails for lack of sufficient votes. So, you want to restate your motion? Or so? Okay, so then they will just remain in second reading. Right. Okay, please proceed, Madam Clerk.
Point of order.
Councilman Lay?
Why were people voting no to return this committee? So it's actually a motion for information.
President?
Councilman Brewer?
I had an issue with, I said a question, why was this being pushed out so far? We're at the end of December. We're talking about February. That's pretty far out. So I had a question, why are we pushing it out? And it was stated that this is the motion of the request of the chair. So the chair is not here, so I can't get the answer that I want for it. So my vote was a no vote.
My motion for information is now directed to Mr. Harper. What does this do when we move it out this far?
Can you repeat the question?
No, my question is, right now it's in limbo, it's just sitting here because 4-4. What happens if we move it out that far? Is there a problem with moving it that far?
Yes, the funds for opioids has to be, we receive the funds, so we need to properly record it into the right account. We cannot do so without the council approving the fund numbers, and that's CPO 2022-141. CPO 2022-143 is the tax anticipation warrants. So with the tax anticipation warrant, we want to have, they have to properly advertise. By advertising, meaning we have a date of public hearing, which would be usually is our second council meeting in January. With this, this is the warrant dollars that we receive, the city will receive from the bank in place of the actual taxes that we receive. As you know, we do not receive the first installment of our taxes until like, I think it's like June or July.
Right. So you're saying you need this done? Then?
Yeah, we would actually need a, our normal process a bit sooner before the last council meeting in January.
So what I would recommend, if I may, is that it'll be on the agenda for second reading on January 3rd. And at that time, it could be, a committee meeting rescheduled, scheduled, passed on all three readings, what have you, but certainly there'll be meetings on January 3rd as well as January 17th, both of which would be sufficient for the deadline. So it failed for lack of sufficient votes, and so it'll remain on second reading. Okay? Yes, that's when our first council meeting will be, so we can deal with that then.
Well,
We don't, if we could not belabor the hour,
No, I'm just going to move for reconsideration of the vote.
We need a date.
The date would be the next committee?
Not for a second reading. You'd have to set a committee date.
Now I'm going to need Mr. Williams' assistance here. I don't understand why
I think we have a solution, if I may. It'll be on the agenda January 3rd.
Okay.
On second reading. At that time, the council can set a committee date for it that's in accordance with what's needed, or, all right?
I'll yield to that unflawed argument. Okay.
It's efficient. All right. Okay, so 141 and 143. We'll now move to CPR 2022-20 and CPR 2022-21, also in finance.
CPR 2022-20, resolution recognizing a donation from Mayel Organics LLC to be used to assist the Rainbow Arts Shelter, sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary, Malik Harper, City Controller, Mary Brown, Councilwoman of 3rd District.
Councilwoman Brown. What we want to do, if possible, is to suspend the rules to consider both of these on all three readings. So if you could restate the motion to suspend the rules.
President, I move to restate my motion for Bill 2022-41.
20, 20, and 21. Right. It's moved and properly seconded to suspend the rules to consider CPR 2022-20 and 2022-21 on all three readings. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer? Yes. Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell? Yes. Councilman Lay?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
President Godwin?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, the rules have been suspended and both CPR 2022-20 and 2022-21 will be considered on all three readings. Is there a motion for passage of CPR 2022-20? CPR? Let's do them individually for the passage. All right. Okay, so we're moving for passage. Is there a second?
Second.
So moved and properly seconded. We'll have the overview at this time. Attorney Lockett, and this is for CPR 2022-20.
Thank you, President Godwin. This is a resolution to accept a donation from Mael Organics LLC to assist the Rainbow Arc Shelter. Mael Organics has generously donated toiletries, hair care products, and diapers with an estimated value of $400 for the benefit of the Rainbow Arc Shelter, and this resolution is to accept and to acknowledge the donation.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion? All right. Seeing and hearing none, we'll now vote on CPR 2022-20.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown? Yes. Councilwoman Caldwell? Yes. Councilman Lay?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
President Godwin?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPR 2022-20 passes.
CPR 2022-21, a resolution recognizing a donation from the National Honor Society of River Forest High School to be used to assist the Rainbow Arc Shelter, sponsored by Mayor Jerome A. Prince, City of Gary, Millie Harper, City Controller Mary Brown, Councilwoman of the 3rd District.
Councilwoman Brown? One. All right. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. We'll have the overview at this time. Attorney Lockett.
Thank you, President Godwin. This again is a resolution to recognize and appreciate the generous donation by the National Honor Society of River Forest High School for the use of benefit of the Rainbow Arc Shelter. They have donated socks, hats, gloves with the estimated value of $150 for the Rainbow Arc Shelter.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion?
Mr. President.
Councilman Lay?
We could have done both at the same time unless someone wanted a division of the question. So just in the future, I'm going to vote yes, of course, but we could have done them both.
Duly noted. All right. Any other questions or discussion? All right. Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown? Yes. Councilwoman Caldwell? Yes. Councilman Lay?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
And President Godwin?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPR 2022-21 passes.
CPR 2022-142, an ordinance to amend and replace flood hazard area ordinance by establishing provisions for flood damage prevention in accordance with the State of Indiana Model Ordinance for Flood Damage Protection, sponsored by Carla McVeigh, Department of Zoning.
Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell.
Training and development will
been moved. Is there a second? It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown? Councilwoman Caldwell? Councilman Lay?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
President Gollar?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, the rules have been suspended, and CPO 2022-142 will be considered on all three readings. Is there a motion for passage of CPO 2022-142?
Mr. President,
Councilman Brewer?
there's a question, as Councilman Lay brought up earlier, that the mayor's name should be added as a sponsor. Since we're moving on all three readings, should we amend this at this time?
Yes, yep, you can make a motion to amend by substitution, but we got to get it on the floor, right? I guess. You're going to move for passage of it, and then we'll do the amendment. All right? Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell? We're going to move for passage. So we've suspended the rules, and we've suspended the rules. Now we're going to move for passage, and then we'll move to amend by substitution. We're going to get it on the floor, right, by moving for passage.
Mr. President, we would like to make a motion to amend CPO 2022.
We're going to move for passage. Passage. Yep. No, just move for passage at this time, right, on third and final. Yep.
On 35.
Right.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All right, now we have a motion, Councilman Brewer, a motion to amend by substitution.
Mr. President, I would like to make a motion to move by substitution CPO 2022-142.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded to amend by substitution. And Councilman Brewer stated earlier what the amendment was based on Councilman Lay's remark that the mayor will be added as a sponsor to the ordinance. Okay, any questions or discussion about the amendment? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown? Councilwoman Caldwell? Councilman Lay?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
And President Gollar?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2022-142 is amended by substitution. This time we will consider CPO 2022-142 as amended. We'll have the overview at this time. Attorney Lockett.
Thank you, President Godwin. This is an ordinance amending the City of Gary's floodplain ordinance. The purpose of the flood damage prevention ordinance is to promote the public's health, safety, and general welfare to minimize public and private losses due to flood conditions in specific areas. The current floodplain ordinance was adopted in 2016. However, FEMA requires communities to adopt or amend a floodplain management ordinance that meets or exceeds the minimum National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP requirements. The NFIP works with communities required to adopt and enforce floodplain management regulations that help mitigate flooding effects. The NFIP is available to help provide affordable flood insurance to citizens based on where they live. This is important since most homeowners' insurance does not cover flood damage, and flood insurance is often required by mortgage lenders when properties are located within federally designated high-risk flood zones or floodplains. Plan Commission and Common Council approval adoption is required to maintain eligibility for the NFIP. If not approved, the Gary community would no longer be eligible for flood protection insurance. IDNR must approve the ordinance before submitting to FEMA, and FEMA requires this ordinance by January 26, 2023. The Gary Plan Commission approved this ordinance with the favorable recommendation to the Common Council at its meeting on yesterday. And so we're requesting that this ordinance be passed on all three readings tonight with the updates required to comply with the new FEMA and IDNR floodplain maps.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion from council members?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Lay?
Why didn't the sponsor, it appears that Attorney Locke was reading the ordinance to us. I thought it was supposed to be an overview. Why wouldn't Mr. McVeigh, I hope I'm pronouncing it correct, from the Department of Zoning be the one to give the overview? Why are we getting why is it being read to the council? In other words, I'm not sure, and I apologize, if we went beyond the ordinance and asked questions, how would we do that? I think we would have to have the department head here to do that. Or we're going to start having the attorneys do all of the overviews.
Mayor Prince?
Mr. Chairman, Councilman's concern is acknowledged. We asked Attorney Lockett to do the overview for expedience this evening. Ms. McVeigh worked on this particular ordinance, her as well as the Director of Redevelopment, Mr. South as well. They're completely versed with it. Moving forward, the administration is actually going to be providing the overview to the council, either myself or Deputy Mayor Trent McCain. So, as has been the case all throughout this term, or certainly this administration, Corporation Council, this is the term I'm looking for. Lockett has given several of the overviews as well as the controller. So no slight was intended, and I assure you that all the persons I mentioned beforehand were completely part of this and certainly versed in what it is.
All right. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown? Yes. Councilwoman Caldwell? Councilman Lay?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
And President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2022-142, as amended, passes and is so ordered.
CPO 2022-144, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9556 and ordinance number 9557 to make changes to the 2023 operating and salary budgets for the Gary Police Department and the newly created Park Department, sponsored by Mayor Jerome A. Prince, City of Gary, Malik Harper, City Controller. CPO 2022-145, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9446, entitled An Ordinance for the City of Gary, Lake County, Indiana, approving an American Rescue Plan Act spending plan for housing opportunities for first responders and others, sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary, Malik Harper, City Controller.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. And 144. The mic on.
Mr. President, Ways and Means would like to make a motion to have a Ways and Means Committee meeting January the 31st at 5:30, and a committee and a public meeting February the 7th.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brewer?
No.
Councilwoman Brown? Yes. Councilwoman Caldwell?
Yes.
Councilman Lay?
Pass.
Councilman Washington?
No.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
No.
Councilman Williams?
No.
Councilman Lay?
Yes.
President Godwin?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 4 yes, 4 no's.
With a vote of 4 yes and 4 no, the CPO 2022-144 and 145 fail for lack of sufficient votes, as the others remain on the agenda, and it's on second reading for our next regular council meeting.
Mr. President, as pending ordinance and resolutions on second reading.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, we will have our mayor's report. Mayor
Mr. President,
Prince. Councilman Lay.
I'd like to comment. If the chair authorized the motion, all you have to do is say, I move. You don't have to preface that with any other term. You just simply moved to do whatever you want to do. I've not suggested anything in the past, but I've always known you to do it that way. It's not meant to criticize anyone, but you never have to say, I want to do or I like to do. You just simply move to do it. And that is the proper way to make a motion. Once the chair authorizes, you say, I move to, that you do something. Thank you, Mr. President.
I agree. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll have the mayor's report.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Chair, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Chair, I'd like to briefly expound on Councilman Brewer's report of the Snow Committee, particularly as we are anticipating really hazardous weather here within the next few days. I think the report suggests this area probably somewhere in between 10 and 12 inches. The councilman is the chairman of the Snow Committee, as you all are aware. And Councilman, I want to thank you for working with the administration and certainly Public Works in ensuring that all of the necessary things that we've experienced over the years are certainly paid attention to, and not only that, addressed. I am happy to report that this year we're certainly better off than we were last year, and I would say 100% better than we were in January of 20. And I made a few notes that I think of our particular interest, but as the councilman said, most of our residents have the ability to go online at gary.gov and see the same information and to track the progress, track our trucks as well as the routes. And so the tracking program is online. You can go to gary.gov, and there you'll find an interactive map. You'll also find information about the particular trucks that are out on the roads as well as the routes. What persons have to do is go to gary.gov, as I said, click on the City of Gary, I believe it's called the Winter Roads Hub link, and from there you can check on the status of particular routes as well as look at the interactive map and submit snow issues, which is a huge feature. Certainly might save some of the calls that come directly to some of you and myself as well. The work shifts will be 12 hours as they typically have been. It's 3 to 3, and then 3 to 3 is split amongst 26 employees. We have been very sufficient, adequate salt supply, and it's in our new dome that's housed on 11th Avenue. We have 1,300 tons available and are ordering an additional 1,600 tons. There are 15 vehicles that are ready and on the road, 6 big trucks. I believe there's 5 pickup trucks, 4 550s, and we'll receive the assistance from our usual partners, the fire department, some police. Also, Lake County will take care of some of the southern routes. There's 2 contractors that are on standby in case things get a little bit more hairier. And the snow routes, which are typically your main arteries, that fall under the city's emergency snow plan, certainly will be activated. They are the main thoroughfares, 8th Avenue, 15th Avenue, 19th Avenue. In fact, there's a complete exhaustive list of all of those, and the significance there, as most, I would imagine, have come to know, is that in situations or occurrences of 2 inches or more, the city may tow vehicles from those particular routes. And so I would advise that anyone who is not aware of where those main arteries are, go online and take a look at it. Mr. President, lastly, I want to certainly congratulate the 2 council members
thank them for their services, but certainly congratulate them as they embark on a new journey. One, certainly on the county council, a position that I've held, and the other as the township assessor, another similar position that I've recently held. And so I'm certain that they both will do a fine job and also continue to be advocates for the city of Gary. Lastly, Mr. Chair, I would like to thank every member of this council as well as the general public for a good year, and also wish you and your families a happy holiday and safe, prosperous holiday season. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, and likewise. Questions for the administration? Councilman Brewer?
Not a question, Mr. President. I want to take the time to wish all my colleagues, if I don't see you before the Christmas holiday, wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and to the general public a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you, Mr. President.
Absolutely.
Mr. President.
Councilman Weatherspoon?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, I also would like to take this time to say happy holidays to all the citizens of the community, those residents of the 2nd District, and to my colleagues as well. Thank you.
Great.
Mr. President.
Councilman Lay?
I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to everyone. And I do have a question that the public would possibly want to ask. When will your reorganization meeting be?
We're planning to do it on the January 3rd, Tuesday, January 3rd at 3 o'clock p.m. But
It's
due
going to be
notice
at
will
3
be sent
o'clock.
out.
Okay.
I know you plan to attend.
Yes, I'll be here.
All right.
Absolutely, I'll be here.
Thank you.
I did
Any
have
other-
one other question.
All right.
I
You know,
guess this-
Councilman Lay does not want this meeting to end.
No, I'm going to ask the mayor. Well, okay, I just want to know, can we handle a foot of snow?
Can we, you said,
Adequately handle?
Uh,
That can be directed to Councilman Brewer, anyone.
he wants to know how you can handle a foot of snow?
Yeah, can we do it? I believe there's going to be
The question was?
How, are we prepared to handle a foot of snow?
I believe so. And as I stated, we're certainly in much better position than we were of January of 20. And I mean, that's, you know, thankfully due to some revenue recovery dollars and ARPA dollars and prudent planning and certainly proper utilization of those dollars, we are able to purchase the necessary equipment that we need, which is why we now have the larger trucks that can cover the entire city. And with that and the support of our partners, the other entities that I mentioned, I believe that we are in fairly good shape. And plenty of salt also. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other members? Councilman Brewer?
I want to also add to the mayor's snow plan also and reiterate to the citizens. The first priority is to hit the main arteries. And after the first 48 hours of the main arteries completely clear, then the second is the side streets. The side streets and the alleys are next followed. So I just want to tell the citizens, be patient. The main arteries are taken care of first, then the side streets are taken care of. I know we all going to probably start getting those calls, but if that's the same message that we all can send to everyone, and you can track the plan, but the main arteries are to be taken care of first, then the side streets. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I forgot to mention earlier that the pastor, senior pastor at Sweet Home Missionary Baptist Church, earned his Bachelor of Science degree from Indiana Wesleyan University this past weekend. I want to congratulate Pastor Marlon Mack, who's been a pastor in this community for several years, on that achievement. I know he's going on to seminary now to get his master's degree, and so I've committed to help him do that, being a master's graduate of seminary myself. So I wanted to congratulate Pastor Mack. Any other questions or discussion from council members? Seeing and hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn? So moved. We stand adjourned.